Hi, welcome to VegPlotter. I'm Richard. Now in this video we're going to cover off very quickly all of the sort of key things you need to do or to need to know in order to use VegPlotter. Now it's going to be a very quick whistle-stop tour. We're going to have other videos that go into far more detail about key concepts like planting and when to plant, where to put beds and all that kind of stuff. But in this one, it's really just the very basics of how to use the tool. Okay, the first thing we need to know is how to set your plan area. Now this plan area, when you first load the plot, is set to 10 meters by 7 meters, but you can change that to whatever you need. So obviously you'll need to set it to a width and a length that will fit your weird and wonderful garden shape in it. So, and we do that over here on the right hand side. Click the cog icon. If you're on a mobile phone, you might need to open the menu and click the cog icon there and close the menu like that. But on a normal desktop device, the cog will appear, and then in here you can change the thing. So let's call this backyard. That creates the garden name, and we can set the width and length here. So width is left and right, length is up and down, and we can enter any values. You know, our default measure is meters, but we can change it to feet if we want to. But in here, even if it says meters, we don't need to just enter meters. We could say 24 feet and 5 inches, and it converts it for you. Okay, hit update and it'll update. Okay, zoom out to recenter it. Now we can zoom in with control with these buttons, or with control and the mouse wheel. Okay, when you're in the plot, we just drag the plot around to go wherever you need. Okay, zoom out again. Now that's the first thing. The second thing is how to add items. Now we have 3 types of item in VegPlotter, and 3 menus that are associated with each. So we have structures, add structures. Now that is anything that's not a bed or a plant. So that can be sheds, pole supports, it could be patios, it could be ground coverings, it can be paths. Okay, beds are really important. That's where we add our plants. You can't add a plant unless there's a bed. So if you find you're adding a tree and you can't add it, just add a little circular bed and add the tree to that. I'll demonstrate here. We can create a little circle and we can add an apple tree to that. You see, you can't drop it until you've added it to a bed. Okay, but right, so let's just delete that, select the bed and delete. Okay, and then we can add plants. Okay, now remember, plants need beds, so we drag a bed on, and then we can add plants. Now there's a default row direction with beds, and if you select the bed, let's drop that and we'll select the bed. Now I can't see the row direction here, but I can change it in the menu. Over here I can say the row direction is 45 degrees. But if you want to see the row direction, just zoom in, because there wasn't enough space to show it before. So now we can see it. It's this little arrow ending, so it's set to 45 degrees, but you can grab that and change it to whatever you like. So let's say it's that way along the plot, and then when we add a plant, it follows that row. Okay. Now the other thing to know is if we add a structure here, we're adding in some pole supports. Now the active menu is important. You can see down here it says active structures. Now I can't select beds while the active structures is open. I have to open the bed menu, then I can change beds. Same with plants. I can't select a plant until the plant menu is active, like so, and I can't select structures while the plant menu is active. I need the structures menu to be active. Okay. The other thing to know is multi-selecting items. You can do that and move them around. So one option is Control A, and that will select everything, and you can move everything around. Okay, another option is use the multi-select tool down here, and we can click that. It enables multi-select mode, and you can select that. Let's add another. We'll add another structure so that we can demonstrate. Now, if we have multi-select on, we can select multiple items. Whoops, multi-select on, select multiple items. If we disable multi-select mode, we select items individually. Okay. Another way to do it is use the drag to select tool. We can drag down and it will select those items. Notice it's not selecting the bed, and that's because the bed menu is not active. If we want to do that, we can select the items, do the bed menu, hold down control and select it, and that will select the item or everything so that we can move the beds as we need. Okay, so those are the sort of adding stuff. You can control thing as you need. One thing I would like to say is that if you add in a irregular shaped item, one thing to know is it dragging the points changes the points. If you have this little translucent item, that creates new points, and if you want to delete a point, you just double click it. Okay, rectangles if I had a rectangle bed, work in a similar way, but they change the length and the height of the item. Okay, so irregular beds work like that, like this one, where you can delete points, whereas rectangular ones, they just change the width and the height. Okay, you can rotate with this little item here, and then you can drag it by just moving the item. Okay. Now the other thing to know is the timeliness of VegPlotter. So VegPlotter doesn't make you create a new plan every year. Your plan can evolve with you as your garden grows. So as you let's hold Control and delete everything. So when you first start the idea of having a garden, you don't have any beds, or you may not have any beds. So you might need to start creating them. So in month 1, you might say, let's create a bed. Let's duplicate that. Let's create 2 beds in month 1. Let's just start small. And when you select an item, you get add in month and remove in month. But you can do that for multiple items. So let's say we're going to add this let's move to 2026. Select the items, and then let's say we're going to add this in February 2026. And I don't know when we're going to take it out, but that doesn't matter. We just say not set. Okay, now if we move to 2025, it disappears. And in monthly mode, if we change to monthly, in January it doesn't appear, and then it appears in February. Okay, so this veg plan can evolve with your garden. The same applies to plants. When you add a plant in yearly mode, let's add some beetroot. Okay, it works out when it thinks you should plant it based on your climate. So this here is April. Now, when you add a plant on, if you've got succession planting on, and you can disable it by clicking on this, what it will do is when you drag a plant on, it will add one in each of the months. Or if you drag out and extend the planting row, what it will have done is, if we go back to monthly mode, you can see February we don't have anything, March we don't, and then April we have the first 3 rows. And then it says in May we add another 2 rows, and then in June we add another 2 rows. So this allows you to do successional planting quite easily in yearly mode. Now you can do this all manually if you're in monthly mode yourself. So in this other bed, let's say we could do the same, exactly the same way. We can go in April. Now this month is really important when in monthly mode, because when you drag something on, you're saying you're going to add it to the ground in its final position in that month. So let's do some more, let's add some carrots. And when we add those, you can see it's so outside in April. And if we drag this out now, they'll all be in April. And then we can move to the next month, and we can say we'll add some more carrots. Okay, and this one will be in May. Okay, because we've got May here. So this active month is really important on when you're in the planting mode. So we can go back through the months. So, oops, that's forward, back through the months. May, we lose the April, we lose the row of carrots, and then we go through until we've got nothing planned. So first month is April, and then the garden grows, and as we go through the months, then you start to see that space becomes available. So in November, oh, maybe we could add some garlic, for example, and we can. So let's add some garlic in here, and we start to fill the bed and get the maximum we can in terms of our growing space. Okay, so those are the key features. Hopefully I've covered off everything. I've really whistle-stopped through all of that. If you have any questions, drop us a line, reply to any email we've sent, or use the contact us form, and I hope you enjoy planning. If you want to find out more information about any of these tools, then go to the help section, where there will be far more videos about how to use this garden planning tool. And thank you, and happy planning.